Okay. So, so when we look into the data or the table which is on the left-hand side here, so it basically has nothing but certain rows and columns. And just by looking at that, you will not be able to infer anything out of it apart from figuring out the type of data it has, or basically the type of column each one is. Okay. Whereas if you look into the type of maybe a chart or map or maybe certain line chart which is there on the right hand side, you will definitely able to figure out what's actually happening in this case. So for example, in this particular visual, what you will see is what are the year-to-date sales of different products. Now you can see certain products are being sold more compared to others. So it makes the business decision simple onto judging what has happened over a course of time with respect to the sales of different products in this particular case. And in this particular visual, you'll be actually able to see how your products have been sold across different states. Okay, in which state the sales is more, in which state sales needs the improvement. Okay, so all this thing. And here again, you will be able to see the trend graph, which shows you the YTD of sales across a timeline. And also what's the present YTD? Is it greater or it's actually lower compared to the previous YTD? So it gives you the growth or the depreciation which it is experiencing. So it gives you the account about that as well. Okay. So the data which looks like this, it makes the business decisions simple for the business center. Okay. And hence, we can say that conversion of the raw form of data, which looks like this, into this kind of data, which makes the business decisions simple, is called as business intelligence. Okay. And as simple as it may seem, just by looking into this diagram, believe me, it consists of so many steps, and it actually in the end becomes a kind of intricate process, depending upon the type of the data that you're using, and depending upon the type of the dashboard that you're planning to create. Okay, so let's look into the diagram, which shows us the high level architecture of the BI development that goes across different organizations. Okay, so here what we have at the left is the data which is coming from the different sources. Okay, like some of the data might be coming from some of the RDBMS type of files, like let's say Excel files, CSV files, or sometimes it might be a data management system. Okay, like it might be SQL, it might be Snowflake, or it might be Oracle DB. Okay, any database management system. Then it might be some Excel files or CSV flat files, as I said. Sometimes the data might be coming from some transaction systems, maybe some SAP oriented systems, okay, or things like that. So what is usually done is all of this data from different sources is brought into the next stage. And this is called as the staging environment, where we do the ETL. And ETL actually stands for extract, transform, load. Okay, ETL stands for extract, transform, load. And here, what we basically do is we extract the data from different sources. That is quite obvious. Along with that, we transform the data. And when we say transform, we mean that we make the data uniform as per the requirement, and also we clean the data. And cleaning means removing unnecessary values, removing the values like nulls or blanks, establishing the data types, okay, and creating the aggregate data if, whenever we want, okay. And yeah, so this kind of data is called as uh, transformed data. And once it is transformed or uniform and ready to use, Then we send it to a platform called as data warehouse. And data warehouse is nothing but it is in any organization, a data warehouse, or basically sometimes in some organizations, they call it as data lake. It is a centralized repository of data. And from this data lake or data warehouse, you can extract the data you need for any type of business intelligence development. Okay, so all the types of data is stored into this centralized repository. And this repository is, I mean, it's not an actual repository, actual hardware, but it actually is a combination of certain tools. Okay, in certain cases, it might be something like a simple SQL or no SQL. Okay, sometimes it might be a system like Snowflake. Sometimes it might have some additional virtual layer, and sometimes it might be consisting of certain usage of certain ETL tools like using Informatica and ultimately storing the data into some data lake like Azure Synapse Data Lake. Okay, so there'll be certain different systems that many organizations use. Yeah, there might be something like the usage of Azure Data Factory as well. Okay, so yeah, there might be some combination of tools which ultimately constitutes the ultimate data warehouse. And yeah, once the data is brought into the data warehouse, there'll be subset of this data that will be made from the data warehouse, and these subsets of the data are called as data marts. Okay, and what I exactly mean by that is, let's say in your central data repository, you you have the data in various forms. Like I mean, you have the data corresponding to engineering, you have the data corresponding to human resources development, you have the data corresponding to the sales and returns, and the actual operations that happen in your organization, and also the things like the vendor management, the client management, all the data you have in the central data warehouse, like the data like product information, okay, everything. But let's say you are working only on the sales dashboard. Then what you do, out of this whole data, you bring out the data which is needed, let's say only for sales, and that you call it as sales data mart. Okay, and what you basically do is out of all the tables, you only take the tables that you want or create the new views from the existing tables that you want by using certain queries, and that you call it as the data marts. There might be, let's say, the data marts like sales data mart, HR data mart, operations data mart. Okay, and once you make these subsets of the data that you import into your BI tools, like let's say Power BI or maybe Tableau, or Click, or maybe Grafana, anything. Okay, and then ultimately you do the front end developing of the report from the existing data, and ultimately you develop the dashboards or reports, and you finally make certain visualizations that will make the business decisions simple for the organization. Okay, so this is how the high level architecture of the business intelligence, which it looks like in many organizations. So as far as this, any doubt, people, from anyone?
Hi, Pawan, Riaz here.
Yeah, hi,
So,
dear.
what is the scope of a Power BI developer here? I mean, in this whole
Mhm.
diagram.
Yeah, okay. In this whole diagram, I'll tell you the scope of Power BI developer. Okay, so mainly the scope of Power BI developer is that he should be expert in this thing. One is, I mean, he should be expert in taking the data from the data lake and developing the report. That is the first and foremost important thing. But along with that, he also should have the knowledge of what is happening in this end. That is how the data is transformed from different sources. Okay, so the knowledge of this and also this, the ultimate reporting. There actually the scope of Power BI developer is. And usually the way the things work in Power BI or in any business intelligence or organization that uses the business intelligence tools is that at the start of the project, they always, bring out the people from the different domains. Like they make the meeting of the Power BI people along with the data engineers. There'll be certain BI managers, and there'll also be the people involving the actual DB admins or the database admins who actually bring the data from different sources into the things like SQL or NoSQL, the things like that. So the BI developer also involves in the meeting where actually this whole thing is decided. That is how the data will be brought from the different sources and what kind of dashboards will ultimately be developed. What type of ETL would be done, what kind of data model will be done, or what approach would be, whether it will be star schema or whether it be Snowflake. All the discussions the BI developer will be part of. Okay. So that is the scope of Power BI developer. Is that clear?
No. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Any other doubts, people, from anyone else? Okay. So we'll move ahead then. So basically, yeah, I was explaining the data warehouse and creating the data. So let's say if we consider a data warehouse, it'll be consisting of different data. As I said, some of it would be metadata. Now, metadata is nothing but the information about the data that is present in the data warehouse. It might be containing the data in the summary form. I'll tell you while doing the Power BI developing what the summary data actually looks like. Okay, right now you don't worry about it. And it might be having in certain cases the raw data as well. So out of this, all of this data will make the data which is legit for our purpose. Let's say if we are developing the sales dashboard, then we'll only import certain tables which are dealing with the sales aspect. Okay, like let's say what was the order ID, what was the order details, what was the sales amount that was made, what was the customer information. So all these informations will bring out into the tables, and we will make the dashboard based on that by importing the sales data mart. Let's say if we are working on something related to marketing, then we'll import the tables related to marketing from this data warehouse, and we'll make it a data mart corresponding to marketing. Similarly for employees domain as well. Okay, so this is nothing but the creation of data marts from different, from the data warehouse. Okay, and here, so basically, this is an important thing. Raw data is basically hard to read and draw conclusions from. If you have a data which is in Excel sheet, it's actually hard to read that. When I say hard to read is, what I mean is it's hard to draw conclusions from. You just by looking into those sheets or tables, you cannot infer much out of it. And hence, BI tools are used to convert the raw data into business data. And this is raw data, and this kind of data is business data. Okay. And the business data actually makes the business decisions simple. That's why it's called as business data. Okay. And it'll be visual form of data, visually appealing form of data, like the charts, the bar graphs, the line charts, the scatter plots, the heat maps, okay, stuff like that. And these are some of the tools that are used exclusively to do the BI development. There are Power BI, Tableau, ClickView, Alteryx, MSBI. There is also SAP BI, and there is also tools from certain things like there's one tool from IBM. Okay, there's their in-house tool, and there's also Grafana. Okay, and presently the most widely used tool among all of this is Power BI. Okay, and the reason for that is, first and foremost reason is By Power BI, presently you can connect to more than 100 different types of data sources. So those connections are readily available in Power BI, and no other tool offers that much readily available connections with different data sources. That is the main important thing. Then the second thing about Power BI that makes it more widely used compared to all the other tools is that it has got the integration with Microsoft's other tools like the Outlook, the Teams. Okay, so all these things, Power BI has, they have given the integration with Power BI. Okay, and not just that, the tools like Azure, okay, Azure Data Factory, Synapse Data Lake, it has got integration with that. Okay, in fact, presently they call it, they have tried to bring in everything into a single platform, and they have called it Microsoft Fabric. Okay, where you can do the whole BI development in one single platform called as Microsoft Fabric. Okay, so all those things are there. And also, apart from this, Power BI also is a cheaper thing or cheaper software compared to all of these. Okay, and that's also one of the main reason which makes it widely used compared to the other tools. Okay, so this is about the uh, different tools and why Power BI is most widely used tool. Okay. Okay. And yeah, if you just have a look at the recent timeline, you might observe that Power BI has been uh, it has crossed more demand over last 4 to 5 years, or maybe last 5 to 6 years, we can say that, due to its capabilities. And I just mentioned that. Okay. And the important thing to be understood is that the Power BI is not a single tool, but it's actually a stack of components. Okay, it's actually the stack of components. What are those components? The first one is Power BI Desktop. Now, Power BI Desktop is the offline downloadable and installable tool in Power BI. Okay, you can install Power BI Desktop, you can work in Power BI Desktop, you can actually work from end to end to develop a dashboard in Power BI Desktop, report or dashboard in Power BI Desktop. Okay, then comes Power BI Service. Now, Power BI Service can be called as the software as a service kind of tool, or it's a cloud-based application which is primarily used to share and collaborate the work that you have developed in Power BI across different people in your organization. Okay, so this is what Power BI Service is primarily used for. Okay, and then there is Power BI mobile app. And believe me, even though it exists, you don't do any development in the Power BI mobile app, and it sometimes is used by the high-level business people just to view the dashboards that you have created. Okay, and although even that I've hardly observed people doing it. Okay, but nonetheless, there is Power BI mobile app where you can review the work created by someone. Okay, and you can even develop, but it is almost not used for developing the Power BI or basically to develop any reports. Okay, then we have the Power BI servers. It might be the on-premise. It is the on-premise or local servers. Okay, if you have many computers, then you can install the Power BI server to basically feed the individual computers. And then there is ultimately the Power BI report builder. And the Power BI report builder is used to develop the paginated reports. Now, paginated reports are the reports which fit into single page. That's why they are called as paginated reports. And yeah, Power BI report builder, it is used to develop the paginated reports. Okay, so this is about the stack of components that come with Power BI. And as far as our course is concerned, we'll be dealing with Power BI Desktop and Power BI Service. Okay, we'll discuss on how to create a report which is suitable to view in Power BI mobile app, but we'll not be dealing with this. Okay, and these three things we are dealing with, and these are sufficient for you to, say that you are a BI developer, a Power BI developer in particular. Okay. So any doubts till now? Nothing? Okay. So let's,
I have a question.
yeah, please go ahead.
So, what is the difference between the BI Desktop and the last one, the Report Builder?
Yeah, report builder. As I said, the Power BI report builder is used to build a report which is called as paginated report. Now, the paginated report is the report which gets fitted into single page. And not just that, there's also one inherent difference. That is, now, if you have used if you have seen into something like result sheets, have you looked into the university result sheets? Those reports, those will be nothing but the monotonous reports, which will be having certain things like, let's say, if we consider the university result sheets, they will be consisting of maybe the serial number, then there comes the university seat number or registration number, then you will be having the marks in different subjects. I hope you have seen the reports like that.
Oh, yeah.
So those primarily are nothing but the paginated reports. Whereas the reports that we actually build in Power BI Desktop, they consist of many pages. First thing, they will not fit into single page. They will consist of many pages. And importantly, they will consist of not just these monotonous reports like the ones which are developed from Power BI Report Builder, but they will be consisting of the reports like charts, scatter plots, heat maps, which are visually more understandable and easily understandable. Okay, so that is the primary difference. Okay.
So, using this Power BI Desktop, we cannot generate that paginated reports.
Yes, just by using Power BI Desktop, we cannot generate the Power BI. We cannot generate the paginated reports. We need Power BI Report Builder for that. Or there's also a thing called as SSRS, that is SQL Server Reporting Services. So by that also we can develop the paginated reports. Yeah, paginated reports are, generally in any BI development, project, generally they'll not be using the paginated reports more often than not. They'll be using the reports which are developed from Power BI Desktop itself. In rare cases, they'll be using this. And if they are using it, then you will have to learn either SSRS or Power BI Report Builder. But it is kind of easier to use compared to Power BI. So if you learn Power BI, learning Power BI, learning building the report by using Power BI Report Builder is kind of easier. Okay, it's not a big deal at all. Hope I'm clear with this one.
Yeah, and also, so this course, we learn the desktop and the surveys. So that itself is enough to crack an interview without knowledge of AWS or SQL.
SQL is essential. Whenever you are applying into role of the BI development, they will ask you the SQL questions for sure. Okay, so SQL is necessary, and some basic knowledge of Microsoft Excel is also helpful. But yeah, in the interviews, they will ask you the questions usually from SQL as well as Power BI. So that's what generally happens. Yeah.
So after parallelly, we have to take the Excel course and also the SQL course along with this.
I'm not sure. If you generally know if you just know the basics of Excel, okay, even that is sufficient. If you know how to validate the data using Excel, that is sufficient. But yeah, SQL course, it will certainly help. It will definitely help you. That I'm 100% sure of. Okay, because as far as SQL is concerned, they will ask you the things like how to do the joins in SQL, how to use the Windows function in SQL, and that requires certain amount of expertise in SQL. Yeah, and not just that, it's not just about cracking the interview. It's also about being able to actually do the job when you are recruited, and for that, Excel and SQL will definitely help. Importantly, SQL. Yeah, along
Okay.
with the Power BI, of course.
And so this course and some knowledge of SQL,
Hmm.
so we cannot directly go as a fresher, right? So we have to put some experience on our resume.
Yeah.
So keeping that experience on our resume,
Hmm.
be able to manage the
Yeah,
work or job environment with,
definitely. Yeah,
with
let me
the
just, I know what you are trying to exactly ask. Let me tell you, once this Power BI course is done, you will be having knowledge which will be equivalent to uh, generally the 2 years. I mean, the people who have 2 years of experience into the Power BI. So we'll not try, we'll actually cover almost all the important things that are essential for you to be a Power BI developer, and not just that, an expert into it. Only thing is you have to regularly watch the videos again and again, and then you'll have to go through the classworks, and regularly you have to complete the assignments. If you do that on regular basis, then yes, you definitely would be having knowledge sufficient to do your work in Power BI. Yeah, hope I'm clear.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Pawan, one more question for me.
Please go ahead.
So, yeah. So let's assume I
Hmm.
have 10 years of experience, and then
Hmm.
after this course, as you mentioned, I will get some 2 years of experience in the Power BI.
Mhm.
So, will industry accept my kind of profile?
First of all, what exactly your profile is? Can you just briefly tell me about that? No need to go into detail, but can
No,
you
no,
briefly?
basically, I'm a ETL developer, I can say. Yeah.
Yeah, then why not? Because I mean, if you are an ETL developer, then basically
Mm,
you will be having knowledge of how to take the data from different sources and do the ETL. And yeah,
yeah.
if you're an ETL developer, the best thing that is with you is you actually will know the end-to-end process that is happening. You already know the backend, it means, right? And once you go
Mm,
through this course, you'll also be knowing the front-end development. Okay. And yeah, you will be overall, I mean, it's a path to let's say a data engineering, I would say. Okay. Or data
okay.
analyst. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Any other doubts, people?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, I'm a graduate, and how I'm going to show my experience in this field? Like, I don't have any.
Uh, okay. So you mean to say you're a fresher, basically, right?
Yes.
Yeah. See, when you're a fresher, I mean, there's no, I think showing experience will, I mean, you cannot show the experience. How can you show the experience? But having said that, you can definitely show this thing as what we can say, the internship, okay, or some project that you did over your over your course, okay, that you can definitely do. And not just that, presently there are various platforms through which you can go for job search, like there's LinkedIn, where you can actually publish your work on regular basis. And believe me, in LinkedIn they will be looking into, I mean, they will be usually looking into the immediate requirements, and the HRs and the managers, they'll be going through the dashboards shared by the users. And yeah, that's what you can do in LinkedIn. And however, I would also suggest you to build a Naukri resume, and not just a free version of Naukri resume, but go for a paid version. Paid version will cost you something around maybe 3 to 4K, and its validity would be somewhere around 3 months. I think 3 or 4 months. I'm not exactly sure, but that will definitely help you as far as searching the jobs is concerned. Okay, and as far as the knowledge is concerned, you need not worry about that. You will be having the app knowledge of Power BI or BI development as a whole once we are done with this course. Of course, 100% effort from your end is also needed. And when I say 100%, I mean the regular effort. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Pawan, actually, I also had a quick question.
Mhm.
Can you just please differentiate between, what exactly the job role is Power BI developer and a data analyst?
Hmm. You mean to say how do we differentiate a data analyst from Power BI developer?
Yeah,
Right?
because as you
Yeah.
told, like you need to
Hmm.
learn SQL, some Excel,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Power BI. So that's the reason I'm just asking. I already take SQL course from Tanveer sir, so
Mhm.
uh,
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
I'll tell you that in elaborate way. Don't worry about that. Now, first of all, you tell me you understood this particular high level architecture of BI development, right?
Uh, some sort of, right? Yeah.
Okay, fine. So what happens is that let's say you are a BI developer, and yeah, I'm trying to tell you the difference between a data analyst and a BI developer.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's say you are a BI developer. Importantly, what you'll be doing, you'll be developing the dashboards. Okay, basically you'll be developing the front end development. Okay, and when we say front end development, we are talking about the reports like this. Okay,
Okay.
means you will be making this report from zero. Okay, and you will be ultimately sharing that report in cloud platform, that is Power BI service. So that is essentially your job. And while doing that, you also are required to be in constant touch with the ETL guys, your manager, of course. And also, if there is some Power BI admin, yeah, in some organizations, there'll be Power BI admin, and Power BI admin's role solely would be to deal with Power BI service, like giving access to people, sharing data with certain people, managing scheduled refreshes, all those sort of things. Okay, so you will be in contact, or you will be working along with the ETL guys, maybe sometimes the data engineers, and also there'll be some people who will be doing the QA for you. Okay, that is testing. In some organizations, you alone would be, you are only expected to do the QA, but yeah, in most of the organizations, there will also be the QA people, and you are supposed to parallelly work with them. Generally, your work would be, you will be getting the requirements from the business end, like you are required to develop a particular dashboard. There'll be certain duration given for that. Like, let's say if the dashboard is kind of a complex dashboard, then they'll be giving you the duration like 1 month or 2 months, sometimes even 3 months. Okay, but if the dashboard is small enough, they'll be giving you a certain amount of time, like let's say a week or two. Okay, and in that period of time, you are supposed to understand all the requirements of the dashboard by being in constant touch with the business end, the ETL guys, and also your manager, and you are supposed to give them time to time update or status of your work that is going on about the development of the dashboard. Okay, so this is the work of the BI developer. Hope this is completely understood.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's come to the data analyst, as you said. Okay, now sometimes they are called as DAs, or sometimes they are also called as BAs, business analysts.
Yeah.
Their role generally would be not to always develop a dashboard, but they will be in constant touch with the business. And I mean, they are the main people who will be in touch with the business people, and also the ETL developers, and also the backend developers, like the database managing people. Okay, and also with you. And what their role would be they will be constantly monitoring whether, monitoring the change requests. Sometimes the business end will come up with a change request. That change they will tell to these guys, they will tell to you, okay, and they'll make sure that throughout this flow of work, that change is implemented across the whole organization or whole workflow or not. Okay, and if there are certain new requirements, they will inform about the new requirements and they will check whether the new requirement is implemented across the whole cycle or not. And yeah, if let's say there is let's say any bug which has been identified by the QA people, the role of a DA would be to figure out, to solve that particular bug, he should approach the ETL guy or a backend developer or a front-end developer. Whose job is it to actually solve that particular bug? Okay, so the data analyst, we can say, he will be in constant touch with everyone and he should be knowing Power BI as well. Not as good expertise as Power BI developer, but he also should be knowing the basics of ETL, the basics of data warehousing, okay, so everything. And he should be also good in communication because he will be communicating directly with the business end as well, okay. So hope the role of data analyst is clear.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's it. Any other doubts, people? Yeah, okay. So that's about the Power BI as a stack of components. And now let us start to understand what all is done in different components of Power BI. So as far as Power BI desktop is concerned, we basically get the data from different sources into Power BI desktop. Then we do the ETL thing, that is clean and transform the data in Power BI desktop. And to do this, we use the in-house tool of Power BI desktop called as Power Query Editor. Okay, let me repeat it. Power Query Editor is what we use to do ETL within Power BI. Okay, and not just that, within Power BI desktop, we can model the data, visualize and analyze the data. Basically, what we mean is we create the reports and dashboards. Okay, and then by using the Power BI service, our ultimate aim is to publish, share, and collaborate our work with the business end in our organization or with our, with the people from our team in our organization. Okay, and yeah, there's this Power BI mobile app, and this is mainly used just to review the content, not for developing the content. Okay, so this is the basic usage of different components of Power BI. Okay, and then we'll look into the building blocks of Power BI. Now, I know this is kind of a very generic or basic thing, but believe me, in one of the interviews, they also asked about what are the building blocks of Power BI. Now, these are the building blocks of Power BI. These are nothing but the data sets. I hope all of you know what is meant by a data set. Yes or no?
Yes, from me.
Yeah. How about others? So nonetheless, I'll try to explain. So basically, data set is, it might be a table or it might be a file or it might be a file of certain particular format, like maybe a DB, which actually contains the data. Okay, it might be a file or set of files which might contain data. These things are called as data sets. Okay, and the visualizations. What are the visualizations? Now here, if we look into this, there's this donut chart, there is this bar chart, or basically the common column chart as we call it in Power BI. There's this tree map. Okay, and there's also this crawler which is moving from right to left, giving you certain information. So all these individual tiles which you're seeing here, they are nothing but the visualizations. And yeah, those things are called as individual tiles as well, because each of them occupies certain space or space corresponding to a particular tile. Okay, so they are called as tiles also in Power BI. Okay, so these are tiles. And yeah, there are reports. So this whole thing is one report. Okay, and how many pages it has? It has 22 pages in total. I hope this is clearly visible.
Yeah.
A report might contain multiple pages or even a single page, depending upon the requirement. Okay, so this whole thing is called as a report. Then we have dashboard. Now, here there is a thing. The thing is that in BI development, the term reports and dashboards are generally used synonymously. Generally, when people say reports or dashboards, they mean the same thing. But the thing about Power BI is that in Power BI, a report is different and a dashboard is different. A report is what you develop in Power BI desktop, and a dashboard comes into existence only in Power BI service. The thing is that a dashboard can be made out of different reports of Power BI. And don't worry about this right now. We'll discuss in detail about the dashboards and reports while dealing with Power BI service. Okay, so yeah, the dashboards are different than reports as far as Power BI is concerned. Okay, but generally, as far as the BI development is concerned, these two things are synonymously used. Okay, they both mean the same. Generally, people think that they both are same. Okay, so this is the basic introduction to the Power BI. And yeah, one more thing, let me tell you. I hope most of the people, most of you have installed the Power BI in your system. Have you?
No.
No.
Okay, so yeah, there are two ways in which you can install the Power BI in your system. One, and this is a very simple way. Simple way is going to the market. So basically, it's Microsoft Store is where you can go. Okay, and there you need to simply and yeah, this of course needs the internet connection, and here you can basically search for Microsoft Power BI Desktop. Okay. And once you type that and search for that, will be visible. It's taking a bit of time. Just give it some time. Just let me search it once again. Yeah. So now here you have the Power BI Desktop. In my system, it is showing installed, but if you have not installed it, it will ask you to install. And the procedure is very, very simple. You just need to go on pressing next. That's it. Okay. And it will not require you to enter any kind of code or any kind of serial number, something like that. All you need to do is just go on clicking on next, and it will be installed. Okay. So it's as simple as that. And apart from that, you can also on the Google, you can just search for installing Power BI Desktop, and yeah, go on to install the 64-bit version of Power BI Desktop, because generally nowadays people have the 64-bit systems. Okay, so install that. But yeah, this is very simple thing. You just go to the Microsoft Store and you can install it directly from here. I hope this can be done by you.
One thing, Pawan, can I install in my corporate laptop?
Is it, I mean, it's not, if it's not installed, then you can definitely ask your admin to install it, because I think if you have a corporate laptop, then to install anything, I think you need the permission from the concerned people, right? So
Yeah.
you have to request them, but yeah, they will install it without a problem. Okay.
Okay. Got it. I'll see whether I have admin rights then.
Yeah, the thing is, generally, if you have a corporate laptop, I mean, unless you are a network engineer or some system admin, you will not have the admin access. So generally, what we do is we have to request to them to install the install any software in our system, basically. Yeah, so that's the way you need to go.
Okay, yeah, I'll see.
So yeah, apart from that, any doubts, people?
It's more like theory based concepts.
No, it's definitely not this. Okay, so that is a misconception actually, because this is just an introductory class. From next class onwards, we will be doing the classwork. Okay, and I will give you not just the class files, but also the assignment files where you actually will do the work on yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
So each class would be involving, let me show you the folders that I have for each class basically. So classes are like that. And after each class, you'll be having the assignment files, you'll be having the classwork file, you'll be having the instruction to do the assignment, and you'll also be having the assignment solution file as well. Okay, so all those things will be existing. So don't think of this as a theoretical session. It is far, far from that. Okay.
One quick question, like it's look like pivot tables in Excel. So,
Mhm.
what is the basic difference? Like I know that Power BI is very powerful tool, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But like more or less we can do this work onto the pivot table through Excel, right?
More or less, see, if you're talking about the advanced Excel capabilities, you can do some of these charts in Excel as well, but not everything. Okay.
Yeah.
When you talk about Excel, I think you are talking about the pivot tables like these, isn't it? These tables
Uh,
and maybe
yeah, yeah,
matrix.
and visualization and all.
Okay. But believe me, everything that we do here cannot be achieved just by Excel. Okay. And we are talking about using the DAX language. And yeah, this is the pivot tables that you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is in Excel as well. But here, if you see on the right-hand side, over the period of this course, we'll be developing so many measures and calculated columns. Okay. So all these things you definitely cannot be doing in Excel. Okay. So
Okay.
you will need Power BI desktop to do this. And yeah, believe me, uh, in organizations, they will definitely not use Excel to do this. Okay, so that's the important.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any further doubts pertaining to today's class or anything that we have discussed today, or that you might have certain doubts about how this course is going to help you? And yeah, one more thing I'd like to address, okay, because presently in different online platforms, you might see people saying that you can learn Power BI in maybe 2 or 3 days, or maybe random stuff like that. And honestly, most of the stuff also is there on the internet with respect to Power BI or any other tool. And you might have the question that why this course if we have everything out there, okay? The main thing is that uh, even though all the resources are available on the internet, what we offer here is the correct pathway to learn the stuff. Okay. And believe me, learning Power BI or becoming or developing certain expertise in Power BI, it is not a work of 2 days or 3 days. It will require constant learning as well as constant practice. And you can kind of, let's say, develop some kind of expertise in Power BI, and it will require somewhere around at least 2 to 3 months in total, okay, in order to gain the confidence is what I'm telling you. Okay, so this is what it takes, the effort. Okay. So yeah, if there are no further doubts, then I'd like to close the session. Are there any further doubts, people?
Yes, sir, I want to ask about the timing. It would be going 1 hour session.
Yeah, daily it will be 1 hour session, Monday to Friday, morning 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And yeah, this course will be around, I mean, it will be over a span of usually 1.5 months. Okay. and we cover somewhere around 32 or 35 classes. Usually it's 35 classes is what it takes. Okay, 35 1-hour classes.
Okay, and how much time you think that we need to invest to learn Power BI?
Hmm.
Like we are working, right? So that the reason I'm
Hmm.
just asking.
Yeah, as far as investment of time from your end is required, okay, daily, believe me, you need to attend the class. That is first and foremost thing. And yeah, 1 more hour or 2 more hours from your end to go through the recording session and complete the assignment. Okay, so I think per day, if you are able to allot 2.5 to 3 hours to yourself, then within 40 days, I guarantee you that you will develop a kind of confidence in Power BI. Okay, that is for sure.
Yeah, cool.
And as far as becoming the expert, the thing is that even if you actually are good in Power BI, you never will feel like you are actually an expert, because every now and then some new requirement will come in the organization, and for that again you'll have to scratch your head. Okay, because because I mean, you're not God, right? You don't have answers to everything. You have to think, you have to, I mean, move your brains, and you'll have to come up with the answers with the knowledge that you have, or you'll have to search it over the internet as well. Okay. But yeah, to use the tool confidently, what it needs is, I mean, the practice and constant hard work. That's for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. No further doubts.
Sir, PDF would be available to us all.
Come again, please. Your voice is a bit, I mean, it's not clear.
I'm asking, hello?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm asking if the PDF would be assigned to us, or we would not be getting that.
Yeah, you'll be getting everything, basically
Okay.
the class PDF. And believe me, there's not much in PDF. Okay.
Mhm.
Most of the stuff is actually the data and the work we do in the class. PDF just has the theoretical aspects. I'm not saying PDF is not important at all, but believe me, we'll be doing much more which is out of this PDF. Okay. So that is for sure. Because it in the PDF it just contains the 71 slides, but it's not just that. Okay. We will be developing many things which are out of this PDF, but yeah, PDF also will be shared without any problem.
Okay.
Pawan, any SQL course suggestions from you?
Yeah, Tanvir's SQL course is what I would suggest to you, and believe me, it's very helpful. Yeah,
Tanvir, is it?
yeah, Tanvir.
Yeah,
Uh,
you should take it.
I mean, where it is, says it in Udemy?
No, I mean, it's from the same academy itself, the TechNest Academy. Tanvir
Okay.
has his SQL course, and
Mhm.
it is actually very good. It is quite elaborate course actually, compared to anything in mm, the Udemy. At least what I have seen in Udemy, Tanvir's course is quite elaborate, and yeah, believe me, he's a very good teacher. Yeah,
Okay, let me check that.
yeah. Yes. Anything else apart from these people?
No.
Yeah. Fine. Then so yeah, I'll stop sharing the screen, and before that, let me stop the recording. Fine then. We'll hopefully meet again in the next class. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.